to start off by showing you my most wonderful patient with the nicest, prettiest smile. I don't think anybody in this room has a smile. Can you see, by the way, why don't you?
I've seen it before, so I'm just
Okay,
refreshing.
okay. And she has a, well, you never know, it'll be different, even though the slides may be somewhat similar. She has a beautiful smile. She won the Miss Pennsylvania contest. By the way, she came in second before I whitened her teeth, and that's something we do a lot about. And then she won after we whitened them. So I hope that it made a difference. But people's smiles depend on their culture. So in Thailand, they drink or eat betel nut juice. And in that country, these ladies think their smiles look great, you know? But in the United States, not so good. Now, when I was in Singapore, I went to the zoo. They have a very famous zoo. And the zookeeper wanted to show me and the audience how healthy this baboon was. So what did he do? He opened his mouth and he looked at their teeth. Because physicians and dentists can tell a lot about your health by just looking in your mouth. So it's a very important area to keep healthy because it's attached to the rest of your body, you know? Now, most of us have never seen a perfect set of teeth. So that's why I have this slide in. This is a 16-year-old gal who has a perfect set of teeth. And you can see they're white and the enamel's very good and there's no cavities. Isn't that nice? To me, form and function, when they're all correct in nature, are a beautiful thing. That's what beauty to me is, form and function. And you can see how beautiful that set of teeth is. These are the upper teeth. Not one filling in her mouth. And her gum tissue is pink. We call it salmon pink. That's what we want. So I want to show you this because I'm looking at this room. Nobody's 16. And I doubt anyone in this room is in this kind of condition. But this is what we all strive to go to. Okay? So it says ideas don't work well unless we do. So it's important, if we want to have our body function well, that all the parts of our body are functioning. But it's an amazing thing. This is my grandson about a year ago, and he lost his front tooth. But isn't it amazing what all is going on with your teeth? You know, when you're younger, they're falling out, and new ones are coming in, and they don't. By the way, I got a smile for it right now. You got it. That's going to be on Facebook, right, Chuck?
I'm going to tag you.
You better. I want all my friends to see what I was doing today. So anyway, isn't it amazing how those front teeth just drop into place and everything, if you do everything right, will be correct. And you can see that he looks pretty handsome related to me. Now, let's go to the other extreme. What happens when you abuse your health? What happens to your teeth? Well, you can see right here, there's these holes. I'll go over here. Holes that are brown and soft, sort of like shoe leather. That's called tooth decay. A lot of you may not know what a big tooth decay looks like. You know, you hear you have tooth decay, but you're not sure what it looks like. That's what it looks like. And these are called Mercury amalgam fillings. This is a material that I and Dr. Weiner don't think is very good. Mercury is a toxic metal, and we'll get to that in a little while, why we don't like it. This is the other side of the same person's mouth. Again, mercury fillings at the gum line and tooth decay. And this is what we want to avoid. So what caused all that? Most of the time, it's something that companies that sell sugar, corn syrup is very big, it's a sugar, that people consume too much sugar. Now, what's the action there? The sugar actually doesn't cause the cavity in that. If you put sugar on a tooth, nothing will happen. So does anybody maybe I should throw this out. Does anybody want to tell me what they think is what happens? Go ahead.
It feeds the bacteria. It feeds the bacteria.
Yeah, that's correct. That's right. The bacteria need fuel. They need something to grow on. And sugar is a 5 or 6 carbon chain molecule. It's very small, and the germs are very small that are in your mouth. But then it feeds the bacteria. But then what? Why does that cause a cavity? See if we can go a step further, because there's one more step to this. Not sure about that part, right? Anybody else?
Acidic and
Yeah, where's the acid come from?
sugar.
Okay, that's correct, but tell me why. Why does the sugar produce an acid? Don't know. This is good. This is why it's great to come to these seminars, because I know the answer to this, and this is crucial. If you get nothing else out of this whole morning, this is the important part to know, especially for you, because you figured it out. The acid is what's the problem. And she said it's the bacteria get fed. So every living thing has one thing in common. You'll laugh when I tell you. They poop, right? Every living thing poops. Can you think of anything that's living that doesn't poop? No, because waste comes from living stuff. So, sugar, germs, or bacteria equals germ poop, because the germs are growing now, okay? And the germ poop is lactic acid. Anybody, you've all heard of lactic acid. It builds up in your muscles. It's a waste product of your muscles as well. So let's take this lady right here, volunteer. If I put lactic acid on that nice pink shirt, what would happen to it?
Corroded.
It corrode it and get a hole in it, right? Okay. So I'm trying to make this real simple. I think you can all understand now that if this lady that had the brown hole ate a lot of Coca Cola with a lot of sugar, and the bacteria grew and they produced germ poop, which is in the form of lactic acid, holes in their teeth. After this lecture, go over on the wall and you'll see a picture that a before and after on the wall over there that Dr. Weiner put up of a person who drank 7 Cokes or Pepsis or Mountain Dew, or it doesn't matter what, a day. And their teeth are all rotting away, and then I fixed them. So if you go over the wall, you'll see that. Now, this is a school called Winchester Thurston School. You may have heard of it. It's in Oakland. A very fine school. And my daughter went there for a while. So I took a picture of what was in the parking lot. A Coca Cola truck delivering Coca Cola to the vending machines in the schools. Isn't that nice? Delivering all kinds of high fructose corn syrup drinks to these rich kids. And what do you think happens to their teeth? And what happens to their health? If it's bad for your teeth, by the way, do you think it's good for the rest of your body? Of course not. Of course not. So when people think, I can't understand what's wrong with my gut, my stomach, it's related to all the sugar that you're consuming, and the bacteria in your digestive tract is full of bacteria, right? So you're feeding all these bacteria all this sugar. I even did a test for the kids because I really wanted to impress them about Coca-Cola in particular. But Pepsi-Cola, Mountain Dew, any of the drinks are all similar. And that isn't even half of it because it has to do with obesity as well. But we won't go into that. I put a tooth that was extracted into this Coke bottle and I had it sit there. I said, in a couple of days, take it out and see what happens to it. And of course, what happens to it? Because not only is there sugar in Coca-Cola, like in a regular can of Coke, there's like 30 grams, which is like 9 teaspoons of sugar. But there's one other thing that's very detrimental. Does anybody want to tell me what you think it is? Right? What else is in Coke that would dissolve that tooth? What?
Bicarbonate?
No, not bicarbonate. Bicarbonate's a base, by the way, but you're close.
The dye.
No, the coloring, no, that's bad too.
There's acid.
There's acid, phosphoric acid. See, I want all of you to be more attentive of reading bottles and cans and boxes. So when you look at Coca-Cola, you will see phosphoric acid. Again, if I poured phosphoric acid on this lady's pink shirt, what would happen to it? It would dissolve it, right? It also dissolves the calcium out of the teeth. So when they open this up after 3 days, the tooth was like almost rubbery because all the calcium got eaten away by the phosphoric acid. So this is a gal from the Pitt Dental School that I was instructing a student about, and she had an unusual diet of basically a big can of Pepsi Cola all day, and then she'd feed her husband when he'd come home at night. But look at her teeth, and this is not an old person. This is a 20-some-year-old person. So she's missing about half of her teeth, and you can see in the front they're all terrible, just terrible. And she's in her 20s. In her 20s, what a pity. But it's not just drinking, but that's probably the worst of it. I went to a store the other day and I took this picture. Of course, right here is where they put the money makers and the high sellers, and we have mini wheats, which are the mini, General Mills stuff tricks you. We'll give you a whole grain, but then we'll sprinkle sugar all over it. So, is it good for you? Probably not. Honey Smacks, Cocoa Puffs, Lucky Charms. Here's one that's pretty good, Cheerios. But then there's Honey Cheerios, which is full of sugar. It's probably not full of honey. Probably, And that's what Saturday morning, if you ever watch television with the little kids, when you're asleep and you say, go watch television, this is what Lucky Charms has, these wonderful commercials that the kids say, oh, I gotta have Lucky Charms. So after a while, they get addicted to stuff that's really sweet, unfortunately. And of course, there's the chocolate spooners. Again, it's hard to read how many, see right here, it tells you nutritional facts, which I'd like all of you to pay attention to in the future. It tells you how much sugar, anything over 7 per serving is probably too much. This is probably 28 or something. Honey nuts, let's see if we can read the sugar. It's kind of hard to read, but I know they're all in the 20s. So you might as well have a candy bar for breakfast if you're going to eat this stuff. Again, see right here it says sugar. So pay attention to boxes, because for your teeth and your mouth, sugar is the enemy. A lot of refined sugar. I'm not saying you can't have any. You can, because your body can neutralize some of it. Now here's a product that everybody thinks is healthy. Yogurt, right? Well, yogurt is healthy. But that's not what you're going to buy. If you go to Whole Foods or you go to Giant Eagle and you go to the yogurt section, you'll see there's yogurt, and then 95% of all the other yogurts are flavored yogurts. So what do you think, like peach and cherry and strawberry and all that, what do you think is the sweetener of that? High fructose corn syrup, which is sugar, just what I'm talking about. So, which has the most sugar? A soda drink, a lollipop, my car gas, or this yogurt? The answer is this yogurt. 31 grams. Remember I told you 3.4, divide that, and that's how many teaspoons. So let's make it 4. So it's, 9 teaspoons of sugar. And people are trying to lose weight by saying, I'm going to eat yogurt. You might as well drink Coca Cola. It probably has less than that, because this one is sweetened with high fructose corn syrup. And I just want to add one more thing. High fructose corn syrup is not metabolized the same as like honey, which is also sugar. It doesn't get metabolized well at all. So if you're trying to lose weight and you have a lot of high fructose corn syrup, forget it. It ain't going to happen. Hidden sugars. Now I have to be careful here because the president of this company is my patient, Ever heard of a company called H.J. Heinz? Matter of fact, the last couple presidents, and I don't like to insult this company because they have good dental insurance when they come in, But there's a lot of products that you have hidden sugar, like ketchup and mustard. Who would ever think mustard has sugar in it? But a lot of them do. But this in particular, see, if you look, again, I said, read what's in them, and you'll see. Corn sweetener, right there, right at the beginning. And the way you read ingredients is the first one listed is the main ingredient, followed by the second ingredient and third. I don't know if you know that. Halloween's coming up, my favorite holiday. I have a big issue with that because my grandkids, you know, they love to go out and get all this candy. So I buy it off them when they come back, but they won't sell it all to me, you know, because sugar tastes good. And why is that? Like a million years ago, if someone ate a orange, I don't know if they had orange a million years ago, but let's say 1,000 years ago, and it was sweet, it was good for you, you know? But if you drink an orange drink, which looks like an orange and has it on the can, an orange on the can, it's high fructose corn syrup and water and acid. That's what it is. It's not an orange. An orange has fiber and has other things. So at University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, where I right across the street from, this is what I took a picture of. This is what the hospital thinks about how to take care of their patients. Almost everything in there is not good for you. We're trying to get people healthy in hospitals, but we're serving them this kind of food. What a pity. I had relatives in the hospital the other day. Cake for dessert, canned beans, not real beans, but canned beans, and a chicken that looked processed chicken. God knows what that has in it, but that's another issue. Again, I want to go into cran apple juice. I used to think cran apple juice would be really good for me. But almost anything that's made in a factory, anything that's advertised on television is suspect in my mind, okay? Because there's 32 grams of sugar in this stuff. That's a lot. 10 teaspoons of sugar per serving. Same thing here. How many grams of sugar? 38. Stuff that you think you're doing a good job for yourself. I'll have cranberry juice. You're really not. So let's talk more about teeth a little bit, because I did want to hammer you a little bit with the sugar issue, because that's really the cause of most of the problems. But then if you eat too much of that and you lose some teeth, I want to show you why it's important to get your teeth fixed. See, if you lose this tooth, it's the first molar, everything starts shifting and drifting and dropping. The upper tooth drops down. And you can get decay between your teeth, you can lose bone, your gums get raw, all kinds of problems. One of the things that they sell here that's really good is a xylitol gum. It's called Spry or Xyla Chew. Xylitol is a sweetener. It's also in this Miracle Mouthwash, so you'll see that it's a natural sweetener, and it doesn't promote tooth decay because it doesn't promote bacterial growth. So xylitol is very good. So reaching your goals of good dental health, how do you do it? What do you need to do? A couple things, just 4 things actually. Oral hygiene. We have in our office 4 hygienists. You need to get your teeth cleaned twice a year at least. Some people more, some people less actually, but most people twice a year is a good idea. And then we've been talking about sugar in your diet. That's really important. You need to go to the dentist once in a while, because even I have issues once in a while. I can't fix them myself, and my partner has to help me out. But you can't definitely help yourself. You're not a dentist. You don't know what you're doing. You're not even sure what someone pulls their teeth out, what that's all about. And then you have to be motivated. I think you are just by being in this room. Anybody who comes to the One Hour Wellness Week is motivated to take care of themselves a little better than the average person. And a smile is the universal language. When I look at this lady right now, she just looked at me. She just sized me up just like that. 2 things sized me up. First one is what? My eyes. We made eye contact. But the second thing is teeth, your smile. There are people like this lady right here. She's sitting like this with her hand over, half awake. We're talking about you sitting here like this because I'm talking about teeth. And she probably has issues with her teeth. She's missing some teeth, actually, I see from here. So she has her mouth covered up. But let's say you're going to a job interview and you're missing a tooth right here. Do you think you're going to get hired for most jobs? I don't think so. People want to see a nice, pleasant smile, and it affects your whole personality. If you cannot smile, people, if you're not proud of the way your teeth look, you're not going to smile and you're not going to be like her. Okay? I like this Ogden Nash quotation. It says, "Man has to go to the dentist to keep his teeth in good condition so that he won't have to go to the dentist." I think that's good. So your teeth have a lot of issues. One of them is you want to be comfortable. I can tell you right now that if you have a toothache tonight, it takes over your life. There's nothing else you're thinking about. So it's important to have good teeth just for that. You probably didn't think about if you lose a tooth or some teeth, it affects your speech. You can't talk right. This is an area that's really big recently. If you have germs all over your mouth, they get inside your body. And the research shows that it can go to your heart, your liver, your kidney, your pancreas, all over the place, because the same blood that goes to your gums goes everywhere else. So I have a patient that was in the hospital recently for heart surgery because she had a streptococcus infection of her heart valve. But she also didn't, we had to get her mouth cleaned up as well. So they can be related. Improving appearance, we do a lot of this. I have a friend that's a plastic surgeon. Between him and me, we can take anybody and make them look like a movie star. And we have, by the way. Here's a story about a lady that was a physicist. She was about 48 years old at the Mellon Institute in Oakland, and she was unmarried. But this is what her teeth look like. No wonder she was unmarried. What kind of guy would want to, kiss a lady that looked like that? And plus, probably bad breath. Look at the difference when you fix someone's teeth like that. Guess what? She got married like 9 months later after we fixed her up. Makes a big difference. Anybody know? I got the right age group here for this one. This is a patient who was referred to me from his Beverly Hills dentist. He was performing in Pittsburgh about a year ago, and his front teeth broke. Matter of fact, you can see his front tooth that broke. So I was called off the golf course Sunday. Came in the office at 4 o'clock, fixed him up, and he had a 7:30 Bynum Theater appearance. Who is that? Anybody know? I'll give you a clue. He had 50 million records sold. You should know. Glenn Campbell. Glenn Campbell. He was doing his Alzheimer's farewell tour. You might remember last year he came through Pittsburgh. He went all around. He's actually trying to get money, so when he needs a lot of money to take care of him the rest of his life, he'll have it. So him and his wife and his kids toured the country making extra money for all this care he's going to need. He thanked me 7 times after I fixed his tooth. Wonderful guy. He's lucky he has a great wife. What's important to patients about your mouth? You don't want to be in pain. You want to be able to chew, and you want to look better. I like this cartoon. It says, "We're not going to hurt each other, are we?" I want to show you what we can do for people, just a couple before and afters. This is a lady who, she's all right. She's probably like a lot of people, but after we fixed her teeth up, what a difference, huh? And we do a thing called bonding, which is not that expensive. I was talking to a patient who I thought might be here, but she's gone, who needs a little bonding. It's not that expensive. It was like $90 a tooth. She needed 2 teeth. We're going to do it, I think, next week or the week after. And that's the before, and that's the after. Isn't that something? That's the kind of stuff we can do in our office. Again, a cavity. I'm going to be going to Europe soon, and people walk around like this. It's hard to believe. Big cavity right in their front tooth. But you can see we can fix it with bonding. Some people have a space. Me in particular, I had a space like that, not maybe that big, and I had it fixed by doing a little bonding. So that's pretty easy to do. And we do it with this material called composite resin. You can see here's a broken tooth here, bonding, fixed it up. We did Tom Hulse, who was Amadeus, in the movie they made here called Dominic and Eugene, and we actually made his teeth look bad. We created that to be bad for the movie. We can make him good or bad, either one. This is a symphony conductor's wife from Europe, and you can see how we've improved her smile a little bit. This is an interesting story. This gal was at the dental school, and she was sitting there with his boyfriend. I'll call him a nudnik, but annoying kind of boyfriend. You know, he'd sit there the whole time where a student was working on her. So we fixed her teeth up, so now she looks like that. And guess what she did with the boyfriend? Got rid of him, got a new boyfriend. Laura Hutton has that space, but she closed it. So that's how we can close it. We just put a little bonding right in the middle there. Now, let's talk about mercury fillings. Mercury fillings are in probably most of the people in this room's mouth because a long time ago, that's all they did. In my practice since 1969, I have not put one in because mercury, as you know, is a toxic heavy metal. On the periodic table, it's right next to plutonium. That's not too safe, you know? Why would you want mercury in your head? Your brain is right 4 inches away. Now, I'm not saying that mercury leaks out all over the place, but there probably is some going on there. So this is me. This is my silver fillings, which are whole amalgam fillings, 25 years ago, which I had replaced. And we use a camera in our office, so you can see they're cracked. So I had them replaced. And the other thing is, sometimes they're between the teeth, you have these corroded surfaces. You know silverware gets corroded? Well, these fillings are mercury and silver, so the silver gets black and corroded, and of course that attracts germs. So a lot of dentists will say, oh, they're okay, but they cannot deny that they get corroded, and when they get corroded, they collect germs. So this is the kind of thing we can do. We can take out these old broken mercury fillings, and this is tooth decay right there, and replace it with a white restoration. You can't even tell anything's there. Now, some dentists say, well, it doesn't leak, they're fine, don't worry about it. I'm going to prove to you that that's not true. So this is a mercury filling, and this is called a night guard. This person puts this in because they grind their teeth every night, you know, and then they take it out in the morning. What do you think that black stuff is right here, and right here, and right here? Anybody think? That's probably the silver mercury leaking out of the fillings that were in those teeth. You understand? That tray went over their teeth, their upper teeth, and after this person wore that for a while, that's what you saw. So if it came out on the night guard, guess what? It's coming out in their mouth and going down their gut. I don't know how anybody can deny that. That's evidence, that's proof. Now, you look at that and you say, that's gold. And you say, well, I don't want gold, I don't like the way it looks. Well, I'm walking around with about 15 gold fillings. If you look, you can see them. Why? I'm a dentist. Gold's been around for 5,000 years. The Egyptians used gold. It's a wonderful material. It's sort of inert. It's called a noble metal. It doesn't react to almost anything. You could find it at the bottom of the sea 250 years later, like they did the Etosha down at Key West, and it's still the same. 250 years under the sea, still the same. So in dentistry, we like to use it. Women don't like it because they don't like the way it looks. Men don't like it because they don't like the way it costs. Probably women don't like that either. But you have to spend your money on something. I'm looking, what time is it, by the way? Okay, we're good. So you have to spend your money on something. You know, you can spend it on frivolous stuff or you can spend it on your health. And if you have a broken, bad tooth and you can put one of these in and know that that'll last you till you go underground, I think that's a wise investment. I've done that for thousands of patients over the years, these kind of restorations. And they're still there. Once I put them in and they have preventive dentistry, they clean their teeth well, then generally these will stay a lifetime. Maybe their tooth will decay, but the gold will not deteriorate. So this is the best restoration you can actually do. They're expensive, there's no question about it, but it's, you know, I have a favorite expression. It's cheap pastry isn't good, and good pastry isn't cheap. You like that one? Isn't that good? I think it is, and you have to be a little older to understand that. A lot of times when you're younger, you make these stupid decisions about, I'll buy the cheapest thing, you know? And then you have to do it over again. It costs twice as much. We used to do something called porcelain veneers. People, as they get older, their teeth get worn out, they get yellow, they get ugly, and they're out of shape and so forth. So this is like fake fingernails. And you can see how pretty this lady looks. She always wanted to have nice white teeth, now she has them. And then we also do a thing called whitening, where we take people that are 58 years old, like all of you, or younger, no, and in the office and at home, we give them trays and a light that we shine on their teeth, and we whiten their teeth. And you can see that I've whitened this person's teeth right here compared to this one. This is an example, though, if you take meth or crack cocaine, however. If you look on the right, this person was a drug addict for a while. When you do that, that really messes up your metabolism everywhere in your body, and it shows up in the teeth quite a bit. It's called a meth mouth. Really bad. It wouldn't be a problem if there weren't so many people like this. But anyway, this person went to rehabilitation, got okay, and then we were able to put some composites in and fix them up. You can see the before and after here, and that's the before. Today in dentistry, not everything, but a lot of stuff is done on a computer. We have a very expensive CAD/CAM machine that actually manufactures some of our dentistry. And you can see this is a computer and a screen and a model that's using that. And it's very high tech what we do. This is something, all of you in this room, I'll bet 90% are missing a tooth somewhere in your mouth. Now in the old days, we used to make these removable partial denture things. Patients hate those. You know, they're in their pocket, they go to sleep and they take them out. I have a guy right now that, he goes out and he's walking around with no teeth. He's a big-time lawyer because he can't stand this removable thing in his mouth. So we're in the process of building him an implant. An implant is made out of a material called titanium, which is like gold, and it's very compatible with your body. And you can see the implant goes up here and up here in the jawbone. And then over it, we construct crowns. So we're not doing too many removable appliances. At least I try to talk my patients into not. And the only reason we're not doing more is they're pretty expensive. They're over $1,000 an implant. And everybody doesn't have over $1,000, but a lot of people do. So this is what it looks like. You remember I showed you under the jawbone up in here is the implant. This is 3 implants. And then we're going to build crowns over top of those. So that's what an implant is. If you miss it, if you lose a tooth, talk to me later, and I'll tell you a little more about implants. But this is something that we do a lot of, and a lot of people need them. But once they're in, it's like all of a sudden I gained a new tooth, and you don't even know it. Very compatible. If anybody in this room has a toothbrush like that, get rid of it. That's not going to do any good. I recommend that you use an electric toothbrush, an Oral-B or a Sonicare. They just are a better mousetrap. And most of you probably in this room, if I had you raise your hand, you're using a manual toothbrush. Get rid of it. Go to Walmart, come to my office, go to Target, buy an Oral-B or a Sonicare electric toothbrush. They work so much better. This woman has everything but what? Who's going to tell me what she doesn't have? This is Queen Isabella. This is a famous painting by Goya. And she has pearls, she has diamonds, she has silk, she has feathers, she has everything. But one thing she's missing, her teeth. Yeah, because what happens when you lose your teeth, your face collapses. This part of your face shrinks in. You look 20 years older, just like that. A young person becomes an old person. You get wrinkles. Your lips get together. Your chin gets closer to your nose. And that's what happened to her. I bet she was a beautiful woman when she was younger, but she's missing her teeth. Now we're going to get to the part that I really I'm passionate about. This is why I'm here, and I have a couple more minutes, okay? We're going to talk about Dr. Weiner and I invented a new thing. I'm an inventor, among other things. I have the most used impression tray in the world. We've sold 100 million of them, but that's to dentists. This product is to you. So, all this time I've been saying to people, brush your teeth, floss your teeth, and use mouth rinse. And that's what you need to do, okay? But then I realized after I looked at this bottle. This is Procter & Gamble. Everybody's heard of that company. Crest, everybody's heard of that, right? Look what it says on the back. I'll read it to you. It's right here. It says, keep out of, if more than used for rinsing is accidentally swallowed, get medical help or contact your poison control center right away. Right away. This is like rat poison, right away. Go to the poison control. Now, why would they say that? This is Crest, Procter & Gamble. They're supposed to be a great company, right? Well, what's in this stuff? Right there. I'm going to read it to you because they make it so small, they don't want you to read it. They don't want you to see. So I will read it for you. Number 1, it's blue. Blue dye, number 1. Number 2 that I want to talk to you about is parabens. Anybody ever hear of parabens? Parabens. There's methylparaben and polyparaben. No, I'm disappointed. Because you're all whiner people, you should know about these things. Parabens mimic estrogen in your body. I have a sheet, I wish I had brought it. There's about 5 reasons. Write down the word paraben and go on the internet tonight. You'll see these things mimic estrogen and they affect hormones. And they're in women's cosmetics all the time. So if you go on the internet, there's all kinds of stuff. There's 2 parabens, methyl and polyparaben in this stuff. There's phosphoric acid in this. Do you think we want to rinse with phosphoric acid? I just showed you what it did to the Coke did to a tooth. No. There is sucralose, a fake sugar, and sodium saccharin, which is implicated in cancer with rats, right? Even you know that, saccharin. No good, right? There is polymer 407. That's a plastic. Do you want to have plastic in your mouth? I don't think so. There's something, I can't even pronounce it, some long name that takes the place of alcohol. But if you look that up, you'll see it's not that great. It's just like alcohol. Oh, I forgot to mention, the number 1 mouthwash is Listerine, right? Number 1, that's what most people use. So on the back, if you look at here, it says 21 or 26% alcohol. The American Dental Association, the Australian Dental Association, all the dental people tell you, no alcohol in your mouthwash because it can increase your risk of getting cancer. And if you smoke and use this stuff, you'll be like one of my patients who had oral cancer. He was a cigar smoker and he used to use Listerine all the time. Throat cancer. It's cured. They got it, fortunately. I think we might even diagnose it and send them to an ear, nose, and throat guy. But never use alcohol. Any dentist that knows anything will tell you no alcohol in your mouth rinse. So for years, because Procter & Gamble has these cute looking ladies that come in and give me samples to give my patients of this stuff. But once I read it, I realized I'm not doing my patients any favors. I want to go to the next one, Biotine. Has anybody seen this advertised or heard about it? It's for people with dry mouth. Ever heard of it? Biotine? Okay. He has. They advertise it on news every night. Must be selling a lot of it. It's advertised on the national news. But the second ingredient here is propylene glycol. What's that from?
Sounds like antifreeze.
Yeah, that's what they use in antifreeze, propylene glycol. Is that good? I'm not making this stuff up. If you want to come up here in very small print, see it says ingredients, purified water, second ingredient, propylene glycol. That's the second ingredient. Okay. Scope. Anybody hear of Scope? Probably. What company is that? I think that's Colgate, if I'm not mistaken. Alcohol. 15%. That's a lot. You know, beers, what's a beer, 7%? You may say, well, you're not drinking this stuff, okay? But you are putting it all through your mouth. Now, if you have a heart problem, where do you put nitroglycerin? She has all the answers, this lady. Under your tongue. Under your tongue. Why? Because under your tongue, the skin is very thin. And anything you put in your mouth gets into your body through under your tongue, like nitroglycerin. That's why it works. Person has a heart attack, get that nitroglycerin in their mouth, under the tongue, and all of a sudden they're cured, you know? So anything you swish around in your mouth, guess what? It's getting into your body. So the parabens, the polymer 407, the blue dye number 1, the alcohol, all these things are getting into your body, even though you say, well, I'm not swallowing it, but you are getting it into your body. So this is why I'm excited about all this. And that's why I gave all of you, and if you haven't got samples, come on up here, I'll give you some more. We have a couple more if you didn't get the samples. Of this new product called Miracle Mouth Rinse. It was mouthwash, but somebody already had that idea. So it's mouth rinse. Why is this fabulous? Well, the part that I like the best is it has my name next to Dr. Reiner's name, because we invented it about 3 months ago. And what's in it? Well, what's in it? There's a lot of good stuff. Oh, right here. This is our flyer. You might have seen it hanging around here. It's all natural. That's good. There are no chemicals. There's no plastics. There's nothing that's going to hurt you. It's alcohol-free. Remember I said no alcohol, no alcohol because it increases the risk of getting cancer. And it has a nice taste. And it's an alternative to synthetic mouthwashes like all of these, which are made in a factory. Sort of like food. You know, if it's made in a factory, don't eat it. Eat real food. But the main thing is, if you have a refrigerator that doesn't smell good, I'm going to ask somebody else. I'm tired of you answering all my questions. I'm going to ask this lady right here. If you have a refrigerator that doesn't smell good, what they put a box of what in there? Baking soda. So, right here, baking soda. So, anecdotal story. I was coming home, and my wife women have more smell than men, by the way. We don't smell that much. She said, you had onions for lunch, didn't you? I said, how'd you know? She said, I can smell it from across the room. I said, this is going to be a real test. So I went in the bathroom, switched out with a baking soda type of mouthwash, Miracle Mouthwash, and she says, that stuff works. Now, if you get my wife to buy into this stuff, you know this is really something. But so that's part of the main ingredient. And it's because, personally, I use baking soda toothpaste. And Dr. Werrin and I are going to try to develop a toothpaste as well, but we haven't yet. One thing at a time. Then it has essential oils. There are 4 essential oils that kill viruses, germs, and bacteria, and they're not synthetic. They are cloves. If you've gone to dentists, you know that dentists always use cloves. Spearmint, wintergreen, and peppermint. These things kill viruses, fungus, and bacteria. That's good, but they're natural. They've been around forever. Even you know about peppermint and spearmint. I mean, you're not a scientist, but you know it's not going to hurt you. And then we put 4 other herbs in it. Everybody knows echinacea. It's good for your brain. Remember I told you these things get ingested through the bottom of your mouth. We put cinnamon, thyme in it. They're all good. All of you have heard of these things. You all know that these are good for you. And then there's one that you don't know about, Coca Cola. It's a Chinese herb. That's the last one. And that one's good because the oldest man in the world who lived to be 118, he died, but he was 118, he swears that he used this herb Coca Cola. So we put that in there. And it has a sweetener called xylitol. And the xylitol is very good because it's a natural kind of sweetener from trees in Sweden. And it does not promote tooth decay. Actually, it's a sugar alcohol, so bacteria can't metabolize it. So it's good. So that's what's in it. You can actually turn this bottle over and read all the ingredients. There's no polymers. There's no parabens. There's not phosphoric acid. Matter of fact, there's the opposite. Because I told you decay and problems in the mouth are related to lactic acid being formed in your mouth. It has baking soda. Baking soda is an alkaline. The acid is the problem in most people's mouths. And it tastes pretty good with all these mints and spearmints and stuff. So that's what I'm pretty excited about. That's scope. And if you want to read, look at benzoic acid, sodium saccharin. I can't even pronounce this, but this is the replacement for alcohol. It says the substance is toxic to lungs, mucous membranes. Repeated or prolonged exposure to the substance can produce target organ damage. That's this great big word here that's in sugar, alcohol-free ones, if you look it up. Listerine natural, that sounds like natural, right? Wrong, 21% phosphoric acid and alcohol. Listerine 0. Look at all that stuff. Sodium lauryl sulfate, carcinogen. Biotin. Remember? Methylparaben, paraben, hormone disruptor. So this is the one that I'm excited about. I'm hoping all of you, when you go to McDonald's, they want heavy users at McDonald's. I'm hoping all of you are going to become heavy users of our new invention. Because we'd like to get it off the ground in Pittsburgh, and then maybe if we can get it off the ground in Pittsburgh, we're going to go national. But we got to get it going in Pittsburgh. So you can be the forefront. This is what my office looks like. We're in Oakland, right on 5th Avenue. It's a beautiful office. We won an award, actually, for it. This is one of my happy patients. I won Top Dentist 2014. I should change it this year as well. And I think that is it. So, I told you, does everybody get samples? Anybody not? Did you get a sample back there? Yeah, I have, well, here, you want to give him one? Come on up here. If you have not got a sample of the Miracle Mouth Rinse, come on up, because we're giving you samples. And then I hope you don't just, you can take these on airplanes, by the way, because they're small enough. They're 2-ounce bottles. But I'm hoping you'll like it enough to go over, because they're on sale now, and buy an actual bottle, which is much bigger this size. So, anybody have any teeth problems, oral health problems that they want to discuss before I go by? Okay. Yes.
Just your background,
Yeah.
very top.
Very quick. Okay. I'm going to do this, and then okay, because he's going to take me. So I'm Dr. Werrin. Are you ready? I'm Dr. Werrin. I have been practicing in Ogden for over 40 years. I've been a professor at the dental school for 25 years. I'm formerly a professor, though. I'm not doing that anymore, but I lecture all over the world. I've lectured in Asia, in Europe, all over the United States, including the American Dental Association numerous times. And what else? I think that's about it. Okay, thank you. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I have 2 dental implants.
Yes.
Okay, they became loose.
She has 2 dental implants that became loose.
One, I had to get one pulled out.
All
One
right.
is still there, it's a little loose. So,
Not good.
so why is that? Why
If you still have gum disease, if you still have,
So,
do you do or don't?
no, I don't.
You don't.
Did not.
Okay. So sometimes it can be related to bone loss. It can be related to the way that I put it in. I don't know who put it in. Was it an oral surgeon or a dentist, or was it an oral surgeon? Okay. It happens. It doesn't happen very often. I'd say we have about 93% success.
You know, you have to get rid of them.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Pack it back up.
I'd like to talk to you privately, because I'll bet maybe you chew gum that has sugar in it. Oh, well, because I see you do. Oh, yes. She says, oh, yes, I do. And because I'm looking at her chewing gum. Now, I want to tell you about gum. Xylitol gum, which I had in my thing there, is the gum you should be chewing. Go buy it over there. Xylitol gum. It's also in this mouth rinse, by the way. Use this, by the way. That might help. But when she's chewing gum all the time, like Wrigley Spearmint gum, what's in it? Sugar. So all day long, she's bathing her teeth in sugar, which is bathing her teeth in germs, which are pooping all over her implant, and that's why they're failing, probably. That's my diagnosis. And I just met you. How's that? On 1 foot, I made a diagnosis. Yeah, but I think it's your diet. Yes, dear. There's a lot of controversy about that. Unfortunately, you have 2 choices with a tooth where the nerve gets necrotic or dies. That's the center of the tooth. You have 1 choice: pull the tooth, which most people don't like. So if you do that, you either walk around with no tooth or an implant like hers, and then they don't work sometimes. But most of the time they work. If they're done right, they work. Or get a root canal. Now, in my own mouth, I use my own example. If you go to somebody who really is good at root canals and they do a really good job,
We know they're really good.
well, I know, I think, but you're right, you don't know. So you're taking a shot here. If they do a good job, you're probably okay, but if they do a bad job, it's not okay, because you're walking around with a chronic infection. So the answer to that question to you is, I can't answer it totally. I can say that if you came to my office and I x-rayed your tooth, and I could probably look at you and probe around and tell you if I think it's good or not. That's all I could do.
You do root canal.
No, I do
You know
not.
somebody you could recommend?
Yes, I do. We have a guy in my office. He's pretty good, and I have other people, but I do not. Like I said, I know more and more about less and less, so I'm into restorative dentistry. Yes, dear.
So I have another comment to make about my implants because of the
Comment about her implant right here.
No, excuse me?
I'm just here.
Oh, no, I just want to comment that I was taking Fosamax at the time.
Ah, she was taking Fosamax when she had her implant. Whoa.
Taking it for
See, this is why you gotta ask questions.
problem,
That's the worst.
and then I stopped taking it.
Yeah, see, when you take Fosamax, what's that doing? That's screwing up bone metabolism. I mean, I had a patient who was on something like that, and she walked, this was an older lady, of course, she's walking along, all of a sudden her hip broke. So, that was you. Okay, so Fosamax, not the greatest. Yes, dear.
Okay, Dr. Oz, I watched.
Good, I think he's good.
Said, do not brush your teeth for half an hour after you have orange juice.
Well, and the reason for that, I think, is the acid, the citric acid in the
Is that
orange
all
juice.
true for tea and coffee?
Not so much.
So much.
But I got a solution. This is alkaline. So rinse with this.
Mouthwash.
This mouthwash, not these, because this has phosphoric acid. Crest. That's no good. That's more acid. But mine will neutralize all the acid. So that's why you can use this mouthwash. By the way, I use it on my hair. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but I put it on my hair because everything in it's good, and I think it keeps my hair clean. And also, I had a patient say he put it on his leg where he had psoriasis, and I worked on that because everything in it is good for your legs or your skin. It's skin. Skin's inside your mouth, so you can put skin anywhere.
So
Really.
you say that's true, wait half an hour if you take a Ovogen before you brush your teeth.
First of all, I'm not so sure I'm a big fan of canned apple juice or orange juice. I like an orange because all that stuff is full of sugar and
You know, in the liquid, you buy the bottle.
I know, but do you ever look at how much sugar is in that?
Well, I don't use it, I'm just wanting to know.
My answer is I don't know. My answer is use if you have anything acid like orange juice, use this. And that'll neutralize. That's my answer. And Dr. Ross has no idea about this because it's not sold in California. And there's the great Dr. Weiner who's just arrived in the building. Everybody say hi.
But not bowling.
Don't worry, James. I got everything under control here without you. That's right. Put the. You want me to do some push-ups or what? No. All right. Thanks, James. Yes. Right. No, she has. What time is it, by the way? 5 up. Okay. We got 5 minutes.
If you have a lot of dental work in that now, if you water pig and floss and everything, just once a day enough, and also should you avoid eating certain foods like nuts and that.
If you have a lot of dental work, what should you do? I mean, it sounds like you're doing everything you can do. Water picking is good. It knocks off the plaque. But diet has a lot to do with it. If you're not eating a lot of sugar, you're probably okay.
Once a day enough to brush do that?
No, once a day to brush? No, twice a day. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. All right.
And is that, should you avoid eating nuts and things like that that could break a crown?
No, if they're done well, they shouldn't break. Mine don't break from nuts. If it's done well, it should hold up. Okay, last question. Here we go.
Just how often do you use the mouthwash?
Twice a day is good, but I sometimes use them more. Like I have a patient and I say, hello, I want to make sure that my breath is good. Women are more concerned about breath than men. Where's a man? He could care less, this guy, about mouthwash, right? But women care. It's like perfume. All right, thank you very much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed my lecture. And if anybody wants to come up here and talk to me for just a couple seconds, I have a card. If anybody wants to come visit me, which I hope some of you do. Thanks.